Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with the main man, Sam. Yes, I've called it an emergency meeting, another emergency meeting. I don't know where we're going to go, particularly with the show tonight. I want to get people's comments. I want to get loads off my chest. I did my rant last night. I've been ranting to Sam before we've come online. I want to get Sam's thoughts on just what is happening at the minute. Where do we go from here? What in any evidence is showing that we can turn this around? And where are we as a club? And what are the ramifications for this current malaise that we're in at the moment? So yeah, loads to talk about, loads to get off my chest. Loads of I want to hear from Sam. I want to hear from you guys. Please click the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. I keep meaning we've got new music. Nick set us up with a new intro. I keep forgetting to upload it. We're literally five subscribers away from 6,900. I need to upload that. So we're just over 100 away from 7,000. So please do like and subscribe. I think we're live on X as well tonight. So make sure you get your comments and questions in on X. Sam, we were just talking before we came on, and it's literally rinse and repeat. I think Manny, who does a YouTube channel, said copy and paste Aston Villa at the moment. And that's literally what it is. Every performance, even the victory against Lille, even the victory against Brighton, every performance since that Newcastle game has been rinse and repeat, copy and paste. And even if you don't watch the game, you know exactly what is going to happen with Aston Villa at the moment.
Yeah, I am. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here again. I was just saying to you backstage, I didn't catch the game live because it was Mother's Day, and I took my wife and my mum out shopping, which was really good. I had a really good time. That was sarcasm in case that didn't come across. And then obviously I was keeping up with the score as it went along, and then you just asked me now, like, have you watched it back? And I was just like, I don't feel like I need to. I feel like I've already seen the game without having even watched it. I've seen it because I know exactly what we've done. It's the same thing we've been doing since we played Newcastle. It's the exact same performance. And then obviously since I've watched it back and watched the highlight, and it's rough. It's a really, really difficult period. And what makes it worse, I'm sure we'll get onto it, is it's clearly dire straits right now. Things are not going well, but we're actually in such a healthy position, both in the league and in the Europa League, that if we complain, or when we complain, or when we kind of like vocalize our unease or with the situation, everyone's like, well, what are you complaining about? You're fourth and you're got 1 foot in the quarterfinals of the Champions of the Europa League, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong, but there's not a lot of games left to play, and this is the clutch part of the season, right? This is the what do they call it in marathon sprinting, the final mile, whatever it is. It's the
it's the squeaky bum time, as Alex Ferguson would like to say.
It's squeaky bum time, and we are miles off it. And I just can't explain it. And I think that's what I'm finding so troubling. I can tell you what we're doing and what we're not doing, but I can't tell you how it's any different to what we were doing when we were winning all those games, and 17 in a row, whatever it is that we won across all competitions. And it's really difficult. Really testing time.
This is it. It's I agree with what you're saying. I'm trying really hard. I find it really hard to sort of vocalize or put it into words what what is specific, what is happening, and to make it go so wrong, and then how we can potentially get out of it. Because at the moment, all that's being offered as the way to get out of it is to keep playing the same players and to keep playing the same tactics that we employed with better players who are now injured. And I don't understand why we do. I can't for the life of me figure out why we're doing that when we're getting with this. It's not even. I said this last night on my rant about Man United game. And I annoy myself as an Aston Villa supporter, and other Aston Villa supporters annoy me when they say this about, oh, we're going to Man United, we're just going to get beat. I say it because it's that defeatist attitude, it's that expectation level. It annoys me that we say that. However, we know our record at Manchester United. It's not even the fact that we get beat, it's the level of performance. It's the level of performance against Man United, Wolves, Brentford, Everton, Brighton, even though we got the win. It's just so slow, lifeless, no imagination. It's always on we're always on a knife edge. If we can see the goal, it's like heads just drop, and then it's players are flaying their arms around, having to go at each other, not running, not working for each other. That's what's really getting to me. It's the level of performance, it's the attitude, it's the desire, it's the character of the players. That's what's getting me. It's not, I can take losing games. It's the level of performance, and it's the continuation of the same tactics with worse players that we're trying to employ, even though we know we've got players out of the team that are better. That's what's so frustrating to me.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I think ever since Newcastle, which we were at together, and we kind of watched it together, it was very good. I think even when we have got results since then, and I don't know if you'd agree with this or not, but I almost feel like we're doing it by accident. It does not seem intentional. And I think, the win against Lille was such a good example, because all of the normal football goals you'd expect, the chances, and missed every single one of them, and the one that we scored was just this dumb, Ollie Watkins looping header from, like, what was it? It's not a goal that you score. It's not. Do you know what I mean?
It's an Emery Buendia flick on against a 6'4" defender, first of all, from a long ball, and then it's an opportunist header with, from the goalkeeper being completely off his line. Yeah, it's just a goal it's a goal that's scored 1 out of 100 games.
And even the Barkley one against Man United yesterday, like, the ball kind of gets fizzed in, it just goes past everyone, and it winds up at his feet, and by all rights it shouldn't have stood, really, because it obviously came up Onana's ass. And I think perspective's really interesting, right? Because at the start of the season, you and I were having the exact same conversation as we are now. Yes. And then we turned it around, and then we went on this sensational run, and we were on this podcast, on this very show, saying, well, someone's got to win it, right? Someone's got to win the Premier. And I don't know whether the context is important, right? So I don't know if we need to relax and just say, well,
I was saying, if we didn't beat Fulham after that Sunderland game, that we could be dragged into a relegation battle. That's what I was saying at the start of the season, right? It was purely because of the level of performance, and I wasn't seeing a way that we could even have a shot on goal, let alone score a goal. And yes, there was, it takes a little catalyst to kind of turn that round. And that was, thankfully Buendia and McGinn in that Fulham game. And after we beat Bologna, didn't we? But there was so much time in the season to turn it around at that point. We haven't got time in the season now. And now we're going into these quote unquote easier games. But these are easier games that are vital wins. We have to win.
But the interesting thing is, at this point in the season, so do they. Like, we've got West Ham next in the league.
Yeah.
Like, they have been so. This is not West. Okay, fine. They might be 17th, 18th, whatever it is that they are. But that's not the level they're playing at. Like, if I was Emery, the first thing I'd say is I'd put Bogard on and I'd say, I want you to break Somerville's legs immediately. As soon as he gets on the pitch, snap him in half, and so that he can't run properly for the rest of the game. And then that's half of their threats done. But I don't think it matters who we play at the moment. I think the problem is with Aston Villa. And I think this is really important because we're playing. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I want to make a couple of things really clear because we talk about the Villa performances and they have been shit. You can't argue with that. But it's not. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I don't think it's because they don't care. I think two things are happening simultaneously. Firstly, I think there is a lack of quality in this squad. And I think we have gotten away with murder for a while with some of these players that we play week in, week out. And I think some of them, I'm not going to name any names.
We know.
But it's not just Ollie Watkins. Like, we're talking
Buendia, Leon Bailey.
No, yeah, do you know what? And I love Emery Buendia, but he has a ceiling in terms of what he's capable of achieving and what he's doing. Leon Bailey is the exact same way. Tyrone Mings is the same.
Tyrone Mings.
Lamar Bogard might be the most limited player I've ever seen.
Douglas Luiz.
Again, everyone was so excited when we signed him. And I said the same thing. Rich, I'm dying on this hill, and I'm right every time. When we signed him, I said Douglas Luiz is not the player that people think he is. He's not.
Martin put in our chat. Is it 11 goals that Villa have conceded in transition since December the 29th? That's Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz.
And do you know what? It's really telling, right? So, and another thing as well, like everyone was like, "Oh, McGinn's back." I love John McGinn. He was never going to make a difference to what's going on. I'm sorry, but he wasn't. He just doesn't have it in him. He cannot influence things like that on a long-term scale. Maybe in an individual game, but it's so telling the quality of having that anchor in midfield, because it protects the defense and it sets up the attack, right? And Yuri Tielemans and Kamara have, in my eyes, quadrupled their value since they got injured without even playing a game. Because look at the stark difference between how we're playing with them and how we're playing without them. And I just think it's so telling. But then the second part, apart from like a quality issue, is I think they're in their own heads. I think they're terrified, and they almost forgot what they're supposed to be doing. And I think from Unai Emery's point, although he's stubborn with his tactics and he's stubborn with his selections, I don't think he has a great deal of choice. Like, I was on Sky on Friday, and I was talking to Jay Bothroyd, and he was saying to me, "You have to focus on the Europa League. Villa have to focus on the Europa League." And I said, "What does focusing on the Europa League look like?" I was like, "We're not Chelsea. We're not Man United. We don't have two starting 11s that we can rotate, different games." I was like, Villa focusing on the Europa League is playing the exact same players that they play in the Premier League. We don't have the depth, we don't have it. So I think we lack the quality throughout the squad. And I know that some people are disagreeing with me. Kevin, as always, Kevin Jeans, he's always having a pop at me.
Kevin is the positive one.
He's the
only positive one on this.
He's the positive one.
Chat.
But he also doesn't know a lot about football, which is quite interesting in terms of his comments, because Bogart's quality. No, he's not, mate. Let's just have it, just open your eyes and look at his body of work at Villa. There are one or two games you can count in his whole career at Villa where you said, "Oh, he's been absolutely mint," or he's put in a memorable performance. He's a solid defensive player. He's got no passing range. He's limited going forward. He can't play Emery's way, by the way, that playing out of the back, passing your way out of a high press. He cannot do. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. And the only reason being is because, very luckily, the teams around us have been dropping points as well. Chelsea have been dropping points. Liverpool have been dropping points. Man United have been dropping points over the last 4 or 5 games before they played us. So even though we've been on this terrible run of form, we're not out of it. We're still very much in it. And I would say, and categorically on paper, top 4 is still in our hands. And I think that's something that we need to hold on to.
Yeah, well, I hate that. That's another mentality thing that I hate. Not you, Sam.
No, but it's fine. Like, say it, because that, I think I do think
it's all right because Chelsea got beaten, Man United and Liverpool drew. Like.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying we've been lucky. We've been lucky that we've not really actually suffered much consequence for our terrible performances, and that's a fact. Like, that's not an opinion or to say, oh, we're all fine boys, because no. We need to fix it, but at the same time, there's no point in going overboard and making things worse than they already are. Like, things are really bad. The reality is we've been lucky over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks since January that the teams around us have not been winning all their games. So we're not out of it. We are still, we can still rectify the situation if we start to get things right. But I think, like, and this is something I said to you earlier, like, I don't know what I would do. We always talk about team selection and, oh, you can't play Buendia, you can't play Sancho, you can't. All right, who do you play then? It's really like Harvey Elliott. Is that really the answer? Like, everyone's crying out for Harvey Elliott. No one's ever seen him play more than 4 games.
This is it, isn't it? Good players become better. Players become so much better when it's not playing. There are so many puzzling scenarios of this. We'll come on to the recruitment a little bit later, when I do think the manager needs to take a fair bit of criticism at the minute. I really do. And that's, you get the happy clappers saying, oh, look where Emery's done when he's performed miracles with his team and but like, he's got to take some flack at the minute. I'm sorry, he's got to. But where I take one issue with what you said is about the effort. At that game yesterday, I saw a lack of effort. As soon as it went 2-1 down, I saw it. And I saw it against Wolves when I was watching on the TV. I saw it against, who did we play after? Chelsea. As soon as we went 2-1 down, there's players out there that are pretending to want the ball, that are hiding. And Onana's a big culprit in that field. Rodgers is a big culprit at the minute in that field. Like, he was faking to run and ask for the ball, and then only running when he had the ball. As soon as he lost it, he wasn't going in. He wasn't working back. Bailey was the same. As soon as he knew he made that mistake, he didn't want to know. Did not want to know. And then you've got Konsa, who's having to go at people when he's the one who could be blamed as well for that second goal.
Yeah, 100%.
And losing his man. His body shape was all wrong. Everything about that was so bad. So there's an effort to a point, but at the moment, as soon as there's a bit of adversity, and this is why I think someone said it's Dean Smith. It is Dean Smith's team, 5 years older, because that was when we were sat on this podcast all them years ago. This is exactly what we used to say when we went 1-0, when we went 1-0 down, or we went 2-1 down. The team would just crumble. The characters would be all there to be seen, and we'd have no chance of winning these games. And it's exactly what's happening right now. There's players that are pretending to put an effort in, pretending to run for the ball, pretending to ask for the ball, when they don't really want it. They don't really want to put their all in. And that could be for various reasons. I've been semi-pro manager. I've been in, it's not that level, but it's the same characters, right? It's football, it's football dressing rooms. I've been in them situations where you've got some that are playing for themselves, some that are thinking I'm out of the club at the end of the next season. You've got some that are thinking, I'm going to protect myself because I don't want to get injured. They're all in it for a different reason, and that's the manager's there to gel it together. And at the minute, he doesn't quite know what he's gelling. He doesn't quite know what people's motivations are and how to bring that together. He's thinking, we just got to try and get Champions League football by hook or by crook, and then we'll go again next season when I know some of these players aren't here. But it feels like there isn't a collective goal for all of the players to achieve.
I think
Rodgers is out. Martinez is out. Konsa could be out. There's other players that he's brought back that he knows that they're not going to be there long term. I think there's so much disjointed out in that club at the minute.
I can't help but disagree, man. Honestly, Rich, I feel like, and you know I love you like a brother, man. I would never lie to you. But I
That's
just feel
fine. This is what we're about.
no, but I feel like you're understandably taking this situation and you're
Good
reading
lad,
in.
Tombo. See you later, mate. See ya. You keep your blinkers on. You keep being a happy clapper.
Okay, I feel like you're reading into things because things look so dire at the moment. I I dare you to say before January any of the things that we've just said there about, players thinking that they're off, and and maybe not being wholly invested into the project. I will tell you right now, in my opinion, I would say 98% of the players there at Aston Villa Football Club know that they will never play at a higher level. I genuinely believe that. I think apart from maybe Morgan Rogers, obviously, maybe Onana, if he has another like outstanding 5-6 games in a row, maybe he could go somewhere else. But I feel like this is their level, right? This is the best they're ever going to
Sorry,
get.
Tombo, you still here, mate? I thought you were going. See you, mate. Bye.
Tombo, don't go. Come on, stay. We have to be part of the chat. I think it's yeah, I feel like the players are. I feel like they're scared. This is why I said to you earlier, like they're playing with a fear.
But you're reading into that. So if you're reading into that they're scared, then if you're saying I'm reading into it that there's players there that aren't quite sure about where the future lies and they're protecting themselves and there could be a little bit of disharmony in the squad, then that's the same for you saying, okay, oh well, I'm reading into it, they're scared.
So my evidence, I'm like, what I'm basing that assessment that they're afraid on is the way they're playing, right? Like that kind of jittery, panicking when they pass, like, not look at Douglas Luiz. He plays scared all the time because he hides behind other players. He doesn't want the ball. Like you can see it, right? And you can make an assessment. I might be right, I might be wrong. Maybe they're just in shit positions, or they don't know what to do. But in my opinion, like from the results and stuff like that, that's I'm deducing that they are playing scared. To say that they're wanting away and stuff like that, like I just don't feel like there's the same basis or there's the same evidence or support for it. Like, and you very well may be right. I just don't know what it's based on. And I feel like, for me, the worst thing that we've lost, right? The worst thing that we've lost since all of these terrible results have started, and I think since January we are 17th in the form table, right? In the Premier League, 17th, which is, obviously really worrying. But the thing that we've lost that really, really bothers me is pre-January, even if we went a goal down or 2 goals down or 3 goals down, as a fan, you were saying, you know what? I reckon we can bring this back. And the players had the exact same belief. So when we go down we managed to make it 1-1 against Man United. You see all the players' faces. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then when we go 2-1 down, you can see it. They're like, done. We're done. And I think that is that defeatist attitude and that not expecting to win once you go down or once you start losing the game. I think that's what we've lost. And I think that, for me, that's based off fear. And I think as well, like the players have been pretty vocal about not appreciating the criticism that they're getting from the fans, like Ezri Konsa, which I think is, which I think is mental, by the way. Like Ezri Konsa calling out fans and saying that they're dickheads. Ollie Watkins saying, "Oh, it's too quiet and this and that," and we should be happy with.
1 second it was too quiet. Yeah, next it was, it's tough when they get on my back about performance. It's like, mate, just do your job. Just do your job. Like it is just it's ridiculous, and that's where I'm kind of, I think, probably taking it to, because for me, right, I think confidence is a massive thing. Don't get me wrong, but you're scared. Like you're doing something that 99.9% of the population would die for, and you're getting like, I know we're talking about money and all that. That's an irrelevance, but to be scared to play football, to do what you're good at, like it's.
I don't think it's scared to play. I think it's scared to get wrong, right?
For me, it's a cop out, and like this is again where we're saying this is part of that. Oh well, we're 4th in the league. When Emery took over with this, oh, the players just lacking confidence. We need to get behind them. And, oh, we never win here. We never do this. And it'd be typical Villa to do this, typical Villa to do that. It's like, oh, it just that mentality just breeds into players, breeds into the club, breeds into the fabric of what we're trying to do. And it's like, oh well, we've had a great time in the Champions League, and like we've got this in our hands. Like the players are good. Like the players are good enough. The players that are out on that pitch are good enough to put in a performance, and they're not doing it. That is the fundamental. They're not doing it. So regardless of PSR, regardless of squad cost ruling, regardless of injuries, they should be playing better. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And firstly, just I go through the comments. Obviously, we're so many. I mean, Richard Grosvenor, by the way, I'm on the pod to give my opinion. If you don't want it, then you can bugger off and all. To be fair, and no one's saying that my opinion's a be all and end all. I'm just saying that that's what my opinion is. And when I say scared, by the way, I want to clarify. I don't feel like scared as in like, oh, they're nervous to play the ball. I think that they're getting nervous about letting it slip. Right. I think that they had it so in their hands, right, that now you kind of see the nerves coming in, the packer chasing. I think it was for the love of Paul McGrath, their podcast. He made a really interesting point. He said Villa don't like being chased. You know what?
Just calm down.
Just do one. Do one. No one cares how you to say your stupid name. Shut up. Anyway, so we were. So I was watching the for the love of Paul McGrath podcast, and they were saying, oh, it's we don't like being chased. We like being the chasers. We like being the underdogs, and maybe that pressure is kind of sort of like mounted on us. So that's a really fair point, and I think it is a difficult one where you say the team are good enough to play. Are good enough to put in performances, and I would agree against the likes of Leeds, against the likes of Wolves, and so on and so forth. I think it's absolutely fair to say we should have been putting in better performances, but are this team good enough to like sort of inherently entitle themselves to a better result against Chelsea or against Man United? Probably not. I don't think that we deserved much more, and I don't know how much better those players could have done against Man United. Because even if we step up a level, so do they.
Yeah, but then we're getting into the Steven Gerrard territory of, oh well, what do we expect with these teams? Like Chelsea should be wiping the floor with us. Like that's what he said, and we gave him absolute dog's abuse for saying that. And now we're saying the same thing. Now we're like, oh well, with the team that we've got, do you expect them to beat Man United or Chelsea? Yeah.
And I don't think it's about expecting to lose the game. I think, and again, what you're talking about is the performance, right? You're not talking about the result. You're saying you aren't happy with the performance because the result can go either way. And I'm saying that this squad is like spread really thin. I don't think that there's enough depth in this squad, and that's really what saved us at the back end of last season, right? From January to the end of the season, bringing in the likes of Rashford and Asensio and being able to do the changes that we could do. I think that that's what really pushed our season on towards the end. But then, we just don't have that now. We don't have the depth. Look at the players that we've got on the bench. Like we're swapping Bailey for Sancho. Like it's, do you know what I mean? Like two players who don't have that level to give us. Do you know what I mean?
I think the fact that we're back and forth on things, it just illustrates. Can't put our finger on anything that is the issue here. Like there's so many issues, and I think you're right. I'm right. There's an element of players. There's an element of fear factor. There's an element of players aren't good enough. There's a part of it where we brought players back and maybe had an expectation that they'd be able to hit the ground running. They haven't. There's also, we'll come on to this in a second, the manager continually playing players that aren't playing well. and he keeps saying that he's going to trust them and play him into form, but it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. And if we talk about Watkins, because it was so bad on Sunday, but it's more in the context of why sign Tammy Abraham, why pursue him for so long. Almost the whole transfer window, you're trying to maneuver this deal to get him in. You're doing deals with two clubs. You're negotiating to get Bailey back in so that they can free up some wages or funds to then get Marlon in, and then you're trying to do a deal with them to then do a deal with Besiktas to get Tammy in, and then you're not playing him. I really can't understand it. And what is he going to do? There's two things. What is he going to do any worse than what Ollie Watkins is doing? And then the second point is, we've just gone through the whole thing about playing the same tactics and expecting a different result with worse players. So if you're going to change it up and maybe go more direct, maybe look to put more balls in the box to be a little bit different against the opposition, and Tammy should be the main man to do it. That's what I just can't get my head around.
Yeah, it's a difficult. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. I think, I've obviously not been quiet about my views on Ollie Watkins. I think that more often than not, people are kind of coming around to my way of thinking about him in terms of what his limitations are. And, I think I do wonder though. I do wonder because when Tammy came, got signed, I was like, I was like,
I agree.
There is a chance that neither of them are the right player, right?
Oh, precisely.
But then you look at Marlon, right, since he's left, and it's so funny. He scored. Do you know what's actually really funny, Rich? In our opening, right, the VT that introduces the show, Marlon's there. I saw him, and I just kind of went, oh, man.
I know. That's why Nick's changed it, because he's took Marlon out. It's keeping this one going.
It's wounding.
It's tormenting. Yeah.
No, because to be fair, and you look at him and 7 and 9 for Roma, and it's like, I feel like he would have been a better option than both of them. I really do. But I don't know. I don't have any plausible explanation. I can't even guess or try and come up with an excuse as to why Ollie Watkins is still playing every game. Like every single time we play, I think, okay, he's saving Tammy for Europa, or he's saving him for the Prem, or he's just not playing him. He's just not playing him, and I just don't understand. I don't understand what is, what's going on. There are certain things that I don't. Why is Mings like a mainstay in the first 11 again? I love Mings. Don't get me wrong, but when we're struggling to create chances and get out quickly, who is better to have in that position than Pau Torres, right? If you want an attacking threat because we're not scoring enough goals, which we're not at the moment, why would you play Dino instead of Marlon? And I think in my mind, it's like
Maatsen.
Instead of Maatsen. I think it's because, and I've said this before, if we start with Dino and Mings, it's because we're going really defensive, right? And I feel like we're trying not to lose, or we're trying to keep it stable in the first whatever period of time. And I think when we really go for it, that's when you see Torres, and that's when you see Maatsen. So I'm like, I don't know. For me, a lot of the personnel choices don't really make sense. The team choices don't really make sense to me. But at the end of the day, and I've said this to you before, Emery's not doing it for fun, right? He's not doing it to make a point. He's not doing it. I genuinely, and you have to have a certain level of faith in him, right? And everyone keeps saying, "Oh, you need to call out Emery needs to take some flack for this. Emery needs to," and yeah, of course, and we can question him. But I've said this before, there's method to the madness with him, right? I don't believe he's doing anything just because he has got it wrong or he hasn't really assessed it properly. I think that he's got a plan, and it's just not going his way. I don't know if you disagree or not. Yeah, I don't know if you disagree. I don't agree with the starting 11 choices he's making, or the player choices.
I can't see what the plan is, other than I'm doing it out of pure stubbornness to kind of be proved right. That's the only plan I can see. That people keep telling me to start this player and that player. But I remember Rafa Benitez went through that period of doing that at Liverpool, where he just kept playing the same players. just to try and prove a point. But at the minute, it's going to get in the sack. I'm not advocating for it. I'm put that out there. But players get you the sack. And you keep playing the same players and you keep losing games. It only goes one way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's at any risk of getting the sack, to be fair, is he? Like, let's be honest. How long does this have to continue before we say, do you know what? Actually, we're probably better off with Emery without Emery, because I just cannot imagine where we'd be without. And this is the thing. Like, I know that you don't like people saying that, and I'm not going to say we were in the Championship 7 years ago, because I completely agree with you. It doesn't matter. But I think if you look at the journey that we've had over the last few years, I don't think it justifies us playing bad now. But what I think it does justify is patience in the man, right? And a bit of faith in Emery, that because we did this at the start of the season, Rich, and then we turned it around at the drop of a dime. And it's like, I can't count him out, because every single time I think, oh, do you know what? I don't like what Emery's done here. But then again, there are big moments that, we probably should have done better in. Like, the semi-finals against Olympiacos, or the semi-finals against Crystal Palace. There are times where we haven't kept that game against Man United last season, the last game of the season, when we should have got Champions League. Like, there are moments where, you can actually say, do you know what? We've missed out on opportunities here. And at the end of the day, he's a gaffer, right? He's a leader. So ultimately the buck stops with him. But I just feel like we need to be careful with what we wish for,
Oh, I'm not. I mean, there's people in the chat. I mean, Colin Smith said I'd stick with Emery. David said Emery's taking the squad as far as he can. John says I'm saying it now, just as long as he's replaced with someone better. Davies says Adam Emery has taken the current squad as far as it will go. So I mean, I'm in agreement with you. My only proviso is that, like I said, the start of this season, we were in a similar state. And then we turned it around. We're in a bad state now. Okay, so we're basing the turnaround at some point to happen to the back end of this season on we did it earlier on this season. It's just that keep going back to the well, and it gets more and more difficult. That's the only problem. And the time frame is getting less and less. And I think a few people in the chat was actually speaking to my dad about this before. And I said, we're at the moment with probably the worst team in the Premier League. Now he said Tottenham. So probably Tottenham are probably worse than us. But at this moment in time, we're probably the second worst team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And that's really, really difficult to turn around.
How far do you think it can be excused, right? So let's look at, like, trying to play devil's advocate, right? Look at all the players that we've lost. Look at the financial restrictions that we've got. Look at all of the games that we've had to play, and the injuries that we've had, and I think form as well. Like, having a striker who hasn't been in form for about at least 18 months is hard for any team to deal with, especially when he's your only striker pretty much that you'll play. So how much do you think that actually, fair play, there's only so much that Emery can do with the tools that he's got?
It's perspective in it. It's where you look at it. It's like, we've tasted Champions League football. Emery's put us into the top 4 position, which is brilliant. So it's like, well, do you hold him to that standard and say, right, we should be getting that again because you've done it before, and the players have done that before? Yes, they're a year or two older, whatever. So it's whether you hold them to that standard, or whether you say, well, that was overachieving, and really we've got a squad that's a top 6, 7, 8 squad, and in fact we were actually overachieving. And that's where I think the arguments come in between certain Villa supporters. It's like, well, you either base your opinion on the fact that we're overachieving, and this is kind of, we're falling back to our level and we just need to kind of accept it, or it's like, well, we've been at this level And that's where we want to be, and that's where we set our sights. And at the moment, we're not achieving that. So if we don't achieve that, that's going to be a real disappointment across the end of the season. And we can point to certain points of the season where we've turned it around, we've gone on good runs, and we could do that again. But if we're saying we've got a top 7 or 8 squad, then we maybe won't do that again. Now you can accept that and say, well, the manager's done a good job with limited resources, but what's then the next step? What happens then? We lose 2 or 3 players. We can't then replace them with high enough quality because we haven't got the level of European football. Does then the manager think, you know what, I can't continue with this. I've taken them as far as I can. So there's all these, it becomes a snowball effect with all these things that happen.
Yeah, I don't think he's immune to criticism, by the way. Like that's not what I'm saying.
I totally get the point as well.
No, it's a tough one because I kind of, I'm notorious on here for being or being perceived to be a bit negative, but I'm really trying to look at, like when we finished that game against United, I was just like, fine. Do you know what? Like it is. I don't want to panic, and I don't want us as a fan base to panic either, because I feel like that's gonna snowball. If you look at Spurs, like the fan base are crumbling, the players are crumbling, and then when they make a joke at their own team, right, and they start singing, you're nothing special, we lose every week, and that just translates onto the pitch. And like, look, you only have to look at the chat, and there are a couple of people who are losing their heads.
Everyone's in a heightened state at the minute.
Everyone's in a heightened state.
It is what it is.
Kevin and Richard are trying to scrap the whole fan base and the whole thing, and it's understandable.
Sharik's getting involved as well.
No, I mean it is difficult when they go onto a podcast and don't care what the host opinions are. I mean, maybe they can set up their own podcast and we can listen to them. But I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's kind of rough going, if I'm being honest. I think that the games that I've got coming up are winnable, and I think that we are still in a position where we can turn it around ourselves. Hopefully, Tielemans is going to be back, and importantly as well, we've got an international break, right? We've got an international break, so we've got a couple of weeks to just kind of reset, and hopefully, once that happens, get a bit more fitness back into players like John McGinn. Anyone else. I saw Alisson is out again. Like, I just feel like it was weak. Like, I feel like up top was just so light, right? I just feel like it's so light, like Watkins, Bailey, Sancho, Alisson. Like, I just don't feel like it feels like a really toothless front three. And our problem is scoring goals. And I think that's been the biggest issue, right? Is it just, we've had, even against United, like we've had periods of possession, and against Chelsea, I reckon we could have, we could have been a couple goals up, but for missed chances and missed one-on-ones and stuff like that. I just feel like we need some like, and look at Man United, their turnaround has come from players like Cunha and Sesko and and Mbeumo, like really stepping up, and they just look like they could score just with one chance. Like, they look dangerous. And the problem is, that we need 4, 5, 6 to convert one. And that conversion rate is just always too high. And it's always been too high. We've got away with it in recent years because we create so much. But, we're at that kind of time in the season where you need to take every chance you get. And we just can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know what Jimmy's saying. I didn't say Alisson was no good. I said that he's injured again.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why everyone's misunderstanding what I'm saying today. But no, I'm not saying he's no good. I'm saying that he's been injured and he's very inexperienced. He's very young, and we haven't seen too much from him, right? So it's like, it would be great if he comes in and plays a massive part. And he's Brazilian as well, so he always kind of hold that hope out that he's this flary little techie player that's going to set the world alight. And he always can be, but then again, maybe he's not.
He's just constantly getting injured at the moment.
Yeah.
Constantly. So let's just try and talk a little bit about how we get out of this. Then, what do we see as the way out of this terrible run? Because I think, it's fair to say that we had winnable games in this period, Wolves, Brentford, Everton. Obviously, we beat Brighton, Bournemouth even as well away from home. And then you kind of factor in Chelsea and Man United as as those real tough ones. But because we didn't get the results in those, and Leeds as well, because we didn't get the results in those early ones, that puts the real pressure on those games, Chelsea and United. We obviously lost both of those. We've now got a run of West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Sunderland, Fulham, Tottenham, Burnley. I mean, where do you see that? How do you see us turning it around? Is it as simple as one result and it's turned around? Is it as simple as one big performance and it's turned around? What do you see it as how we can sort of get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, any way you like to bake it, there's no bankers in the Premier League, right? For any team, look at Man City; they struggled to beat teams in the relegation zone recently. Like there's no definite results that you can bank on. That being said, these are games where you have, on paper, a higher chance of getting something out, right? So this is a better period for us to go into off the back of the likes of Chelsea and Man United. It's been a bit difficult, and a lot, the FA Cup and the conference, the Europa League as well. So hopefully we're getting into a period where we can kind of focus and play some teams that we are going to be a bit more wary of Villa instead of just so attacking and so up front. But I think I don't think it's going to be one game, one performance. I think it's going to need to be a kind of a process where the players and the managers just kind of stop and revisit what's going on. And I think there needs to be like a mentality shift. I think people need to knuckle in, knuckle down. I think you need unity in the squad. And I think you need your leaders. This is where you'll need it. You need your leaders.
Maybe we should do that huddle around the ball on the centre spot.
Maybe, yeah. Let's trap the ref in the middle of the
respect the ball and look for unity.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I think you do need your leaders to step on it. I think the players
definitely.
I think the players are kind of feeling the pressure. Obviously, like I said, you've seen the likes of Konsa and Watkins, who are our senior players, right? Like long-standing Villa players, been there for years and years. Kind of saying, fans are a bit quiet, or they're leaving, or they're having a go, and I feel like that is evidence that there's something playing on their mind. Stuff that we're saying maybe they don't like, or our reactions in game, or how many people are leaving before the end of the games, and I feel like it's valid. I feel like as a fan, if you pay your money, you can leave when you want, right? If you're not happy with what you're seeing, I don't think there's an obligation to stay. I don't think when you watch dire football for 90 minutes where you can't string a pass together and you've had no shots on target, I think it's unreasonable to expect people to sing for 90 minutes because when you're there, like it's just the atmosphere is flat, right? And you can't try and lift that up, but you're just not watching anything that kind of inspires that kind of reaction. So I feel like people need to take responsibility. I just can't wait for Tielemans to come back, and I know you shouldn't pin all your hopes on one player coming back and changing everything, but I do feel like he's a difference maker, and people will feel more confident with him on the pitch. I feel like people get excited, like, like when you used to play Wembley at school and you get picked with a guy who's really class and you're just like, oh, yeah, that's it. Like, we're going to do something now because we've got him on our team or something like that. So I just feel like, I don't think it's going to be one thing, one moment, one goal. But I would like to see Tammy get a run. I don't know if he's the right answer. He could very well do exactly what Ollie Watkins is doing now, if I'm being honest. But I just feel like we know what we're going to get from Ollie. You have a chance of getting something else with Tammy, right?
Exactly. And it's baffling to me at the moment. I mean, I said it a couple of weeks. So I actually almost feel sorry for Watkins at the minute. He just keeps being played week in, week out, and he's regressing rather than progressing at the moment. And yes, he got a goal against Lille. As you said, it was an opportunistic finish, but it's not good. It's a tiny little bit of paper over an extremely, extremely large crack at the moment, and that's the problem. And as I say, if we're wanting to change, it doesn't look like Emery wants to change the tactics in terms of our approach. He's done it for one or two little games here and there, but if we're thinking about doing something, then we don't know if he's the answer. But at least, as you say, you can try something different and put Tammy in there and give him some give him some game time, give him a start, let him. Because as I said before, he has been that one who's tried to cajole players. He's been bringing players into the game. Yes, his touch isn't amazing. Yes, his pace isn't amazing, but he'll have a go at players. He'll tell players where to be. He'll be a leader on that pitch. And we've just talked about, we need characters, we need leaders, and that's something that we're lacking at the moment. And just bringing him on for 20 minutes here and there is just not going to give us anything.
No, and I think it's unfair to him as well. I think it's unfair to Tammy to give him 10 minutes a game and say, go on then. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, since he's come back, he's looked a bit naff. But has he really had any time?
When he started against Newcastle, that was when he looked good. He started against Newcastle. Did he start against Brentford? He started, didn't he? Did he start in that game?
I don't remember.
I know he scored, but I can't remember if he started. But he actually looked good. So
yeah, I think
I don't know. Like you say, I don't know if he's the answer. It's the nostalgia piece, isn't it? Douglas Luiz, we knew it was a nostalgia piece. We knew he wasn't the answer. Leon Bailey, I got sucked into that nostalgia. We know he's not the answer, and that is a real problem at the moment. The real problem.
Do you know what I wouldn't mind seeing? I wouldn't mind seeing Maatsen on the left. You know,
yeah,
like as a winger or as like a left wing back or playing three at the back and having him and Kashi as wing back. Because I feel like our problem is just like, obviously to say it's football, but I feel like we're not scoring enough goals, which is why we're losing.
100%. We've said it before, scored 40 goals all season.
Yeah, no, it's been really rough. I think, but I'd love to just see. Because obviously we're not having a lot of luck with these traditional wingers, right? So maybe that's where you put, Maatsen as a left wing back. You put, I know three at the back hasn't worked very well in the Premier League in recent years, but maybe Matty Cash, and then have that double, have like a Barkley and Onana in the middle until Tielemans comes back. Maybe put McGinn somewhere back, because the problem is like now, am I the only one thinking, why is McGinn like been turned into a right midfielder or a right winger? Or did he not used to play in the midfield? Did he not play in the midfield against PSG when he had like the best game he's ever had for Villa? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, he's at the moment, it's kind of needs must. But yeah, I agree. He's better in the thick of the action. He's too.
The needs must not in the middle. We've got
yeah. No, you're right. You are right. It's one of those where if he's doing a specific job on a specific player, I remember that Dan Burn when he kind of terrorized him when he was out on that right hand side. So if it's a specific tactic in a specific game, he's targeting a certain player, then that's fine. But yeah, McGinn needs to be in the thick of the action, and like
he's wasted there.
And it's one of them where we want to get Morgan Rogers into more advanced positions where he's got more space to operate, because sometimes in those central areas it's really tightly packed and his first touch isn't always the best. But McGinn, he loves it in those areas. He's the one who can hold players off. He's the one who can turn players, and then he can slide it into Morgan Rogers, who can receive the ball in more advanced positions. He's at the last line of defense rather than having to hurdle three players, and he's got midfielders hanging off his back, because you're going to lose the ball more times than not, because you've got to beat three men to get to the point where you're going to score a goal. Whereas, I don't know, just the balance of the whole midfield, the whole attacking section.
I couldn't agree more.
Completely wrong.
I couldn't agree more. John McGinn in the middle, I feel like you lose so much of his abilities out on that right hand side, and especially we're just talking about it, right? Transition. Like, you need a fighter to win things back, and I'd love to see McGinn in and around the middle. It is a question for you, because this is a debate I've been seeing everywhere. Do you like Rodgers on the left or as a 10?
Wow, this is. I don't know if it's as limited as just him being on the left or him just being in the middle. I think we need to try and find a way for him to be able to roam around the pitch and pick up the ball in, whether it's on the left, whether it's on the right, whether it's in the middle, and be difficult to mark. Because at this moment in time, he is he's just been isolated, and every time he gets the ball, they'll put 2 or 3 men on him, and we know how he loses. Again, he's a bit of a confidence player. If he loses the ball 2 or 3 times, then you see the arms going up, then you see the kind of shrugging the shoulders and walking off. So I think part of this structure, as Unai Emery likes to call it, putting John McGinn somewhere in those middle area, in the middle, putting, I don't know who else at the moment. It'd have to be Buendia or something like that to give Rodgers more space to roam, because I don't know if it's as rigid as just saying, oh, he has to play off the left or he has to play in the middle, because I think he's better. What he's better at doing is coming off the left to receive the ball in the middle, or starting in the middle and peeling out to either side to receive the ball. That's that. Do you get what I'm saying there?
Yeah, for me, I've always felt like Rodgers' best games have come when he's receiving the ball on the half turn in the middle.
Yeah,
because I just feel like he has that ability to glide past players, and I know, and the thing as well is everyone talks about Rodgers' work rate tracking back. Like, as a cam, he doesn't need to do it as much as he does as if he's on the wing. So and that's why I feel like you have Digne and Maatsen on the left. Then you've got, Maatsen's so quick. He could definitely
he can get up and down.
He can get up and down. I feel like, for me, I'd like to see Rodgers in the middle, and I just want to see him just receiving the ball on a half turn and pushing and gaining yards. Like I said to you already, I think it was it's a real tough one, and I feel like
I just think he's a player who needs to arrive onto the ball as soon as if he's receiving the ball and he's standing still, particularly with his back to goal. It's extremely difficult for him to then do anything with it, because he's very often put under pressure by 2 defenders because they know how dangerous he is. So regardless of who you are and how good you are, that's going to be it's going to be a ridiculous level of strength or skill to get past 2 players every time. So he's far better in, he drift off the left and receive the ball in the middle, as you say, on the half turn, and the ball hits him as he's running, or he's coming from the middle, drifting out into the channels and receiving the ball as soon as he hits those channels. Dennis Bergkamp-esque, he used to drop off the line and receive the ball straight away, or come out from out wide and receive the ball in those areas. And that's what we've got to try and do. And that goes back to someone like Pau Torres needs to play, or as we say, when Yuri Tillemans comes back, because they're the ones who can see the pass. They won't pass it to a player. They'll pass it to an area where the player is going to be. And that's what you've got to do. Not pass it specifically to the player. You've got to play it to an area where Rodgers is running into. Then he picks it up running at full speed. And that's what we've got to do. And then that's where Rodgers is struggling, because he's having to generate the pace. He's having to generate the move rather than getting the ball at speed.
I think as well, the problem is that when he does receive the ball, then what's he got to do? Like, he's either got to finish the chance himself, which is
important. Yeah, this is important. Him and Ollie had a real trust last season and the season before. I think a little bit of that trust is eroding right now.
100%. And look, I mean, when I said earlier that players, some players look scared and you kind of tell them their performances, the epitome of it is Ollie Watkins. He looks terrified whenever he has the ball, because he knows it's going to go wrong before he even touches it. And I feel like the players know that as well now. Like, and they all love Ollie and they back him. And when he scored, they all go in and big him up and everything, because they want him. The same as all of us, right? We all want him to do well and want him to be good. But I do feel like there's been a loss of trust, which kind of brings me back to the Salzburg game. Do you remember we played against Salzburg and Morgan Rogers went up top?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw in the comments, I don't remember who said it. Maybe they can repost it so I can see it. But someone said, why don't we play Rogers up top? And it's a really interesting question. Why not?
Yeah, I can't argue with you. Yeah. He wasn't he up front when Emery spotted him at Middlesbrough? Didn't he start the game up front with another? There was another young lad.
Is that?
I might be wrong, but there was another young lad that he was up front with. No, it wasn't Vicar. I don't think he's actually gone into. I think he might have maybe gone out the team a long time. It was just that particular game, but I can't remember now. But he was definitely further advanced up the pitch, and so yeah, and in that game, you know, it was kind of needs must, and he was up front, and he was drifting into the channels. He was holding the ball up. He's a bit, like he's not going to be one that is going to particularly hold the ball up, but put the ball into the channels, get the ball into his feet on the half turn, as you say. He's at the last line of defense to run through rather than having to run through 2 or 3 players.
But this is my point. Like, I feel like I'm not saying that Rodgers is going to do better or that we're going to get the best out of him if he's playing up top. I've already said this. I like it when he receives the ball on the half turn in the middle and then plays the ball forward. My problem is that there's no one to play it up top to. That who's plausibly going to finish it. And I know that there's a good debate going on in the chat about it. And I'll ask a question, like a really simple, and I'm interested to know the answer genuinely. If you had either Ollie Watkins or Morgan Rodgers in on goal, 1-on-1 in the last minute of the Europa League final, who do you want that chance to fall to? Do you want it to fall to Rodgers or Watkins?
Morgan Rodgers for me. 150%.
No question.
No question. I mean, Watkins wouldn't take the shot at the moment. He'd try and
go out for a throw in.
He'd try and turn back and turn free red and then
or he'd just like swing and a miss. Yeah. And he'd fall
Jimmy's put Duran.
Yeah, he's right as well. He's right as well.
Yeah, you'd agree with him there.
He'd probably chip the goalkeeper and nuts him before it goes in.
There are certainly some, and it's very difficult not to kind of look at different options and different things, and maybe this is why Emery wants to stay consistent, because you can kind of twist yourself into circles by saying, oh, well, play Rodgers up top or play Max at left wing, play such and such here, play such and such there, and it's like you end up going in round and round in circles to be like trying to find the solution. But certainly something needs to change. And I know we started this off with saying that we need to potentially give Tammy more of a chance, and I definitely think that's the case. 100%. I'm not quite sure why Torres isn't playing particularly at the moment when we need some quality going into midfield. I quite like the look of Ross Barkley in that midfield. So I'd like to see him given more opportunity, because if he can keep his fitness, because he's got that touch of class, he's got that quality, and he's got mixed with that physicality that Douglas Luiz doesn't have. So I'd like to see that a little bit more. But again, I think you summed it up well with that, just knuckling down, and it sounds very just basic in terms of, why aren't they just doing it? But Barkley said in an interview, we need to get back to basics. We need to start working for each other. We need to start putting 100% in. And it slightly worries me that they haven't been doing that. But it just need to go back to that. Just back to basics. Yeah. Start working for each other. 100% effort. Backing each other up. Just keeping it simple. And that's what we've got to do.
I think Wolves are a really good example of that, and that's why a lot of us obviously are, looking at them and going, "Hold on a second, look at this fight," and you see it with them. And the thing is, as well, it's both on the pitch and off the pitch as well. Like, they're going down, and they know it. They know they're going down, but my God, are they going down in style? Like they won't be remembered as the worst Premier League team ever and the lowest points. They're going to be, remembered as the ones who started fighting when they're already dead. And do you know what I mean? And like, we're not dead. And that's my biggest fear, is that we drop out of the top 5 or the top 6. And then the last 3-4 games of the season, we turn it on and we're just too far and it's out of our hands. Like, now's the time. And I feel like fighting is exactly what we need to do. And Any news on when Tielemans back? Do we know? Do we have a definitive date?
I think he was asked the question by Tanswell or Townley, saying that he is training, but still individually at the moment. He's not back with the squad yet. Now, so certainly not going to be back for this weekend. But then we have got 2.5 weeks before we are playing again. Hopefully 2.5 weeks, because we'll have a Europa League game on the Thursday.
Yeah.
So I would be thinking that he should be somewhere around that stage then. And I think Onana hinted at it with a Belgian journalist relating to international football, saying that he's close. So I hope he doesn't get called up to his international team. But yeah, it's one of them that I'm looking at. Hopefully after the international break, but he might just be fit enough for the squad. Then we're probably going to look like 4 or 5, probably going to look like 4 weeks, I think, till he's back in the starting lineup, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't come a moment too soon, to be fair. Like, I'm
100%.
I'm so excited to see him back. Not just for performances, but I just love watching him play football. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like he makes everyone around him better, and he's exciting. And just some of the things that he did at the start of the season is just absolutely unreal. But I think, well, the only thing I would say is I don't think that there's a Villa manager that we've had in my lifetime that I really remember very well, that I would rather have in charge of Villa at this point, like whilst it's still in our hands, and to get the best out of these players. I do wish he'd try some of the younger players. But I don't understand why after that performance against Salzburg, Aloba got sent out to West Brom, which doesn't make any sense to me, man. He was so good. And I felt like you look at what's happening at Liverpool with, what's that kid's name, Rio, and Max Dowman at Arsenal, and you're just like, could we have a bit of faith in some of our youth? But then, we're playing Bogard, and I'm obviously not the biggest fan in the world. I don't dislike him, by the way. I think he's.
No.
I feel like it's hard.
Yeah.
I think
you're right though, with like an attacking option like an Aloba or something. Imagine he did like what Max Dowman did against like Leeds or against the.
But he did it. He had his moment, and then we shipped him off.
Yeah. But I mean, in a Premier League game, he wins us the game, gets us 3 points, and then how much of a lift that gives the supporter base that a homegrown player has come in and turned the game around, got a win. Like, Arsenal fans are absolutely buzzing at the moment, and that's something I think that Emery could learn to do. And I don't know whether he ever will, but I think there's so many things on that can galvanise a club and can give you that sort of lift that you need, particularly in a time of real struggle. But at the moment, we don't really have a young up and coming attacker, because they're all out on loan, or they've all never been given.
We did buy that kid, but then
one of them signed, and we can't register him. So yeah, that's not going to happen. But look, I know tempers have flared on this podcast in the comments. I think we just need to dial it back a little bit, please. Keep it respectful.
I think I
understand. We want Villa to win. We all want to have opinions. We all want to do well, but we just need to dial it down a little bit. I get it. When we're winning, it's all good. When we're losing, it's a tough place to be. But let's just make sure it's respectful.
I get it as well. I know that people are like, and this is a thing. I was saying,
our podcast has always been about opinions.
It has.
We disagree. Me and Sam always go back and forth with each other. Sam and George the same. Sam and Martin the same. Me and Kev, that's how we are. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We will get it proper to the bone on this podcast. That's how we are. And I'll do my rants. I'll say it how it is, or what I think how it is. People tell me that I think I know more than everybody else on Twitter. That's fine. People can say that. Tombo Jones was saying he was going to F off because I'm too negative. That's fine. I'm not interested. But let's just make sure it's all respectful.
Yeah, and I think as well, just to clarify, for the avoidance of doubt, like our opinions, right, are our opinions that our own. We've been doing this for a while. We set this up. We're not experts in the field. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not ex managers.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I mean, sorry, you did manage at a semi-pro level, and to be fair, it is experience, and I've played at a decent level as well. So, but we're not. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we're fans the same as anyone else, and you know, we set this podcast up, and you know, we've come here because we want to talk about Villa and to Villa fans as well. So it's important to state that, you know, it's not about. I saw one of the comments saying that, you know, we think we're anyone's betters. We're absolutely not. And you'll see it whenever anyone sees me at the games or anywhere else. Like we're always happy to chat and talk. And the important thing is I know I can be wrong as well. I'm always happy to be wrong. But it's not, when I say something, it's not because I think that I'm right and you're wrong. It's because that's what my opinion is. And that's why I'm here to give it. So, yeah, anyway, fingers crossed. Next,
we just need a win. We need a.
You know what I mean, mate? We're all gonna be hugging.
We need a good performance that is matched with a win as well. Yeah. That's what we want. That's what we want, and hopefully, yeah. Look, I'll definitely take going through on Thursday, but I just want us to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. That's what I want. I want a good performance against West Ham because these games are just getting me down at the minute. It is. And I just want a big performance. We do need to pick me up, don't we? We definitely do. Do.
When was it when I think Kev said, "Oh, we need like," or was it George is saying, "Oh, we need like a 3-4-0 win," and then we beat. Yes. Who did we beat? Bournemouth 4-0.
Yes,
that's what we need. We need one of them.
We need a big win against West Ham, and everything will be right with the world. Absolutely. Right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting involved. Please do hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Help us on the road to 7,000 subscribers. We'll possibly be back tomorrow. Certainly be back Wednesday with match preview, but might probably do Wednesday, to be fair. I think this has been a bit of a emergency meeting / fans forum / psychology session. Everything rolled into one. And then we'll be back Wednesday for a bit of a Lille preview. I'll also be doing the watch along back on Thursday as well, and then match preview for West Ham, watch along for West Ham. So loads and loads of shows to come this week. Then a couple of weeks break, but we'll try and do a few things over the break as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. And as always, win, lose, or draw, fight, argue, or hug, we'll follow the Villa.